Another thing you could do is modify timecode if you're dealing with some of the source material. Now, a lot of times the timecode that comes in is going to be what the camera assigned. But if you found that the timecode is off a little bit, you can modify it and force things to line up. To modify timecode on a clip, you simply right-click and choose Modify Timecode. In this case, you have the ability to adjust it and assign a new number, and that information will then propagate across the clip. Additionally, the Modify properties give you other controls, so if the frame rate was interpreted incorrectly, or you need to assign a correct pixel aspect ratio, perhaps you're shooting with non-square pixels on a format like DVC Pro HD, you could do that here. You can also decide to disable individual audio channels if they contain bad camera audio and you don't want that to carry over. All right, timecode's simple enough. If I make an adjustment, for example, starting this at 1 hour, you'll notice when I click OK that the timecode adjusts down here in the project. It's a really good idea to limit making timecode changes, but if all of your camera angles have synced up properly except one camera's missing timecode, well, then you can go in and manually figure out what the correct timecode should be and adjust it. A lot of times on a professional set, the actual slate will be showing timecode that's being fed, and that's another great way to manually tweak things up. If you know the timecode because the slate is showing a time of day timecode, you could simply adjust that for the clip itself. For example, you'll see that there's actual timecode on that slate. It's 11:50, 13 seconds and 2 frames. And as I step through there, you could see that. Now, the key thing here is that the cameras want to wait to roll until the slate was running. This makes it a bit difficult, but in that case, I've got it loaded. If I select this clip here and right-click and choose Modify Timecode, let's type in the correct timecode. 11:50:03:14. Now, if you're using a professional format, you might be able to set this at the current frame. Some formats, such as those acquired by DSLRs, will only allow you to set the timecode at the beginning. In this case, you're going to have to do a little bit of math. I could see that the timecode is 11:50 and 3 seconds and 14 frames, so I'll click OK. Down here, I could see the new timecode once I clicked OK. In this case, there's a small gap in difference between where the clip started rolling and where the timecode clicked in. So let's just count those frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like 14 frames. So I'll just take that clip here in the bin, select it, and I need to modify that timecode by 14 frames. Modify timecode. In this case, I'll subtract 14 frames, which is convenient, and click OK. Now, you'll notice that things are lining up correctly. If I hit play, and I'm 409, 409. This is one of the major benefits of using a slate that feeds out time of day timecode. And by using this slate for reference, you could modify the clip down at the project level and assign a more accurate timecode. While this is a bit labor intensive, it will make post-production a lot easier, so feel free and experiment with your own footage and consider modifying the timecode. Now, normally before I make this my first method of syncing, I'll turn to one of the simpler methods, and you'll see these a little bit later. Premiere offers a very easy way of syncing off of audio on the tracks or using markers as reference points. But if all else fails and I do have that timecode source near the beginning, it's very easy to modify all of the clips to match the timecode slate.